In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college basketball games happening on March 26, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Cleveland State versus Illinois State. The Illinois State Redbirds, with a season record of 21 wins and 14 losses, are set to take on the Cleveland State Vikings, who boast a 23-12 record in the championship game of the Purple College Basketball Invitational Tournament. This highly anticipated matchup is scheduled for Wednesday afternoon, and both teams are coming in with momentum after hard-fought victories in the semifinals. Illinois State just managed to edge out Incarnate Word with a 78-73 victory. However, despite securing the win, they failed to cover the spread as 6.5-point favorites. On the other side, Cleveland State took down Florida Gulf Coast with a solid 72-65 performance, covering the spread as 5.5-point favorites. Both teams have had strong runs in the tournament so far, but now the real test begins as they battle for the championship. While Illinois State has proven itself capable on offense, their defense has been a weak spot all season. Both teams tend to favor a methodical, slower style of play, which means every possession will be valuable and scoring opportunities could be limited. In these kinds of grinded-out matchups, a strong defense often has the upper hand because it can control the tempo and limit an opponent's ability to dictate the game. Cleveland State has an edge when it comes to defense, particularly inside the paint, where they excel at contesting shots. Their perimeter defense isn't elite, but it's still better than Illinois State's, which has allowed opponents to shoot a concerning 36.1% from three-point range. This defensive vulnerability could prove costly in a game where possessions will be limited. Simply put, I don't trust Illinois State's defense to maintain any lead they might build throughout the game. These teams have only faced each other once before, back in 2018, when Illinois State came away with the win. While that history doesn't mean much now, it does show that they've had success against Cleveland State in the past. That said, this game is shaping up to be a tight contest that could go either way. Expect a battle from start to finish, but Cleveland State seems slightly better equipped to handle the pressure and execute down the stretch. As our first pick for this matchup, the Cleveland State Vikings to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Illinois State has played 2 games in the College Basketball Invitational Tournament so far, and both have gone over the total. When we compare the season-long offensive and defensive numbers for both teams, we get a projected total of 141 points. However, when factoring in the slower pace of play, both teams average 68.1 possessions per game. The adjusted projection drops to 137 points. Despite the slower tempo, I believe oddsmakers might set the total too low, which gives us a great opportunity to take the over. This game is likely to be a back and forth battle, which often leads to more scoring than expected. One major factor in this matchup is three-point defense, or rather, the lack of it. Both teams struggle to defend the perimeter, which could open the door for more outside shots to fall. Given that possessions will be limited, any defensive lapses on the three-point line could quickly add up to a higher scoring game than the oddsmakers anticipate. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Kent State versus Loyola Chicago. It's time for a quarterfinal showdown in the National Invitation Tournament as the Kent State Golden Flashes hit the road for a trip to the Windy City to take on the Loyola Chicago Ramblers this Wednesday night. Both teams are coming off hard-fought wins in the second round and will be looking to keep their tournament run alive. Kent State punched their ticket to the quarterfinals after edging out Stanford in a 77-75 road victory on Sunday. The Golden Flashes managed to cover the spread as 7-point favorites in that game, showing their ability to handle tough opponents away from home. Meanwhile, Loyola Chicago pulled off a narrow 77-76 win over San Francisco, also on the road, despite being a 5-point underdog. Historically, the Ramblers have had the upper hand in this matchup, holding a 6-2 advantage in the all-time series. They have also claimed victory in the last two meetings, including a decisive 75-60 win back on November 25, 2017, in the Savannah Invitational. Kent State has been a resilient road team this season, hosting a solid 10-5 record away from home. However, they are stepping into a difficult environment, as Loyola Chicago has been nearly untouchable in their own building. The Ramblers boast a 16-1 home record on the season, with their only loss coming at the hands of VCU on January 4th. Both teams bring a balanced approach to the floor, performing at an average level offensively while standing out more on the defensive end. One area where Kent State could have the edge is at the free throw line, where they have been more efficient throughout the season. If this game comes down to free throws, that advantage could be a deciding factor in keeping them competitive. The Golden Flashes excel at creating extra opportunities, ranking among the top 20 in field goal attempt rate. They have also been one of the best teams in the country when it comes to generating second chance points, a key factor that could put pressure on the Ramblers' defense. Loyola Chicago has struggled with ball security throughout the season, often turning the ball over in critical moments. Their defensive rotations have also been slow at times, which could lead to more trips to the free throw line for Kent State. Statistically, the Flashes rank in the top 100 in free throw rate, while the Ramblers sit in the bottom 50, which further underscores this potential advantage. While Loyola Chicago benefits from playing at home, both teams have faced their fair share of travel challenges in this tournament. Kent State has already endured 2 cross-country trips, and the Ramblers just returned from the West Coast themselves. Given how evenly matched these two squads are, it wouldn't be surprising to see another tight contest unfold. Loyola Chicago's previous 2 national invitation tournament games were each decided by just 4 points, and even with this being their first home game of the tournament, there's little reason to expect anything different this time around. As our first pick for this matchup, the Kent State Golden Flashes to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Defensively, the Ramblers rank 95th in efficiency, placing 75th in effective field goal percentage defense at 48.6%. They also sit at 154th in forced turnover percentage and 68th in field goal percentage defense. Loyola Chicago plays at a moderate pace, ranking 201st in tempo with 67.1 possessions per game. On the other side, Kent State is slightly stronger on the defensive end, ranking 83rd in efficiency, 59th in effective field goal percentage defense, 93rd in forced turnover percentage, and 71st in overall field goal percentage defense. They play at an even slower pace than the Ramblers, ranking 221st in tempo with just 66.6 possessions per game. Given that both teams lean toward a slower style of play and prioritize defense over high-scoring affairs, this matchup has the makings of a low-scoring contest. With both squads ranking outside the top 200 in tempo and showing strong defensive numbers, it's likely that this game stays under the projected total. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. UAB versus UC Irvine. The UAB Blazers are gearing up for a showdown against the UC Irvine Anteaters on March 26th at the Bren Event Center in the National Invitation Tournament quarterfinals. This matchup will determine who advances to the semifinals on April 1st, where they'll face the winner of the Oklahoma State versus North Texas game. UAB is heading into this game with some momentum, having won 2 straight, including a hard-fought 88-84 victory on the road against Santa Clara in the second round of the National Invitation Tournament. UC Irvine is also riding a 2-game winning streak after securing a 66-61 home win over Jacksonville State in the second round. Based on Bart Torvik's rankings, UAB is the 89th best team when playing on the road, while UC Irvine is rated 122nd when playing at home. So far, the Blazers have thrived away from home in this tournament, pulling off outright victories as underdogs in back-to-back rounds. They managed to take down St. Joseph's and Santa Clara despite being 6- and 7-point underdogs in those matchups. Meanwhile, UC Irvine earned its tournament wins against Northern Colorado and Jacksonville State, both solid but not overly dominant opponents. UC Irvine had a strong regular season in the Big West, finishing with just 6 losses, but this game presents a real challenge for them. While they've won 8 of their last 9, their most recent victory over Jacksonville State wasn't particularly convincing. UAB, on the other hand, has taken 4 of their last 5, showing resilience and offensive firepower, particularly in their second half performance against Santa Clara. UC UC Irvine might have the better defensive stats on paper, but keeping UAB in check won't be easy. The Blazers' offense has been clicking over the past month, and their ability to score efficiently could pose problems for the Anteaters. Given UAB's ability to perform under pressure and the star contributions of Yaxel Lindeborg, I see them as a strong candidate to pull off another upset. As our first pick for this matchup, the UAB Blazers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This game presents an interesting contrast in styles. UAB loves to push the pace and score quickly, while UC Irvine relies on its size and disciplined defense to slow things down. The Blazers play fast but aren't particularly lethal from deep, ranking just 306th and made three-pointers per game. However, they do shoot a respectable 105th in overall field goal percentage, which means they can still score efficiently inside the arc. That said, UC Irvine's defense has been solid all season and should be able to keep things under control. With the Anteaters preferring a slower tempo, they're likely to dictate the pace and prevent this game from turning into a high-scoring affair. Even though UAB likes to run, only 3 of their last 10 games have gone over the total, showing that their tempo doesn't always lead to extremely high-scoring contests. Both of UC Irvine's National Invitation Tournament games have also stayed under the projected total. Given these trends, I expect this game to be more of a grind rather than a shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.